Yo, what's up? All right, guys, what's up? It looks like it's sharing. So let's go ahead and get going, guys. This is Gabe Rodarte with North Houston Real Estate Investors. I just wanted to welcome you guys out tonight. We just were talking about the event and we realized that this is the fifth, I guess you could say Christmas time, December meeting that we've had, which means that we've been doing this for 5 years, guys, 5 years, every single month. Second Tuesday of the month, we're out, and normally we're at a hotel and we're just connecting and networking, meeting other investors. We have vendors, we have a whole thing set up. And as we all know, because of COVID, we are basically just doing it on Facebook Live until next year. So next year will be awesome. So are we live? You guys are able to see all that? You should be able to. All right, cool. Guys, what's up? Okay, so this is the North Houston Real Estate Investors, and I just want to invite you guys to share this with someone else that's looking at getting into investing, especially into short-term rentals. A buddy of mine who's been doing short-term for a while and found a really cool niche that he's good at, and I'm pretty excited to hear and to just hear what he has to bring. It's going to be really good, and then you can also comment on the live, and then we have someone that's checking all the chats for us so we can be up to date on that and make sure that we're not missing any questions. So definitely open for questions. Let me switch this up real quick, and we'll just go from there. Okay, so a little bit about us who don't know. We're always providing great content and education to build your business. That's what's really important for us. We're just when I got started, I had to pay for a bunch of coaching and stuff. And I don't think that everyone needs to do that right away. And I think that networking has really changed my life just in general, and meeting business owners, learning about the business. So that's why we put this on. The other thing is also to create an awesome, positive attitude, positive environment. We don't have a lot of negative stuff here. I think it is anybody who wants to really put the time into real estate investing, you could do it. It's going to take some work, especially if you're a W-2 right now. But we just want to always encourage you that you can make something happen in real estate. And then really one of the key things is to always keep this practical and applicable. So you have to be able to apply this thing, and make sure my live's going. There. We got to be able to we got to be able to apply what we have. And so I've been to a lot of events before where it kind of talks over your head a little bit, and then you walk away not knowing what to actually do. So that's why we're talking with George earlier today, or just texting back and forth and just sharing, hey, this is what I would like you to bring. And so just be ready to take notes. So let's go into some of our vendors. This is a teamwork type deal, and we have multiple vendors. And so Becky, why don't you share with us a little bit about what you do? You already highlighted there. So what do you do, and how can you help other investors in this group?
Hello, everyone. I'm with Real Estate IQ, and we give you what you need to find and analyze your deals. And so for a special Christmas gift to everybody who's on here today, if you text or email me, I'll give you 2 free weeks of our deal finding suite. And that's going to give you 10 different lists of off-market leads that you can market to. Everything from loan modifications, code violations, delinquent taxes, divorce, foreclosure, probate, everything. Also, that will give you access to our online platform where you can quickly and easily run your own comps using actual sold MLS data. And you could pull a list of absentee owners to market to. You could search for discounted properties on the market. All those things are included in that. So please contact me for that free 2-week demo. And like I said, we also have a deal analyzer calculator and all kinds of other things to help your business.
Game on. Thanks a lot. Guys, in the chat, there should be her contact info is in there. So you'll be able to connect with her. Just give her a shout. Real Estate IQ has a cool list that you guys could connect with. And then who else we got? You want to do fast track, Andrew?
Yeah, so I'm an estimator with Fast Track Remodeling, and we are a general contracting company that helps investors with their remodels. And we service all the way up from Conroe down to Galveston and Lake Jackson and anywhere in between. And whether you have a property that you want to flip or you want to uh, keep as a rental or maybe make a short-term rental, we'd be happy to help you with that. And my contact information is there. Reach out to me. Me and my coworker Elijah can go out there and give you an estimate and give you more information about our process and how we can help you out.
Cool. Game on, guys. One of the best flipping companies that are around that just do turnkey type stuff. So if you have rentals also, and then you might need them for some of the stuff you're doing with what George is going to be talking about. So you definitely want his information. Who else? We have Natalie. What's happening?
How are you guys doing?
Good, good.
Good. I'm Natalie with Investor Loan Source, your friendly hard money company. We have your typical 6-month rental loans, or sorry, rehab loans. We also have our rental loans, so 5, 20, and 30-year. Got that wrappable loan available for all those owner financing needs, commercial, and we are still offering, we just rolled it out officially, the one-time close. So for you guys that need the rehab first and then turn it into your rental, you only have to close once. So save you on some points and all of that. Other than that, we're here just to help you guys. Feel free to give me a call or submit an application. Help you to walk you through it, make sure everything makes sense, deal's good, and basically help you out with that.
Cool. Game on. Kevin, what's up?
Hey, Gabe, how you doing?
What's up, man?
Nice to be back, guys. My name is Kevin Davidson. I am with Real Property Management Preferred. We are a single-family home and multi-family home rental property company that basically works with 2 types of clients: the real estate investor and real estate agents. If you're a real estate investor, we'd be happy to manage your property. And if you need rental properties, we'd be happy to help you find them. At the same time, if you're a real estate agent, we would like to work with you and manage the properties that your investor clients are buying through you. And we pay a very hefty $595 referral fee for that. So we manage properties all over the city of Houston, all the way up from north of Conroe down to south of Houston, Katy, all the way to Clear Lake. We manage about 1,400 properties total. We are the property management company that has your back. So give me a call. Thank you.
Cool. Game on. And who do we have last but not least? What we got? Cal?
Yo, yeah.
Yo.
Yeah. Hey, great. Longhorn Investments. We've been in this game, lending for a long time, $100 million company. I think the biggest thing, there's lots of lenders out there. We're super fast in our process. We have an awesome process. We're closing deals 3 to 5 days, super fast, super efficient. It's easy to get pre-qualified for us. Whether you're new or you're an existing investor, Longhorn, definitely want to keep Longhorn in your Rolodex for sure. So we close super fast, easy to get pre-qualified. If you get the proof of funds letter, it helps you whether you utilize our funds or not. So I encourage people to get pre-qualified. It helps you when you're out there dealing with sellers. And I'm also experienced, between my older son and I, we probably got 100 doors in rental style real estate. So, we're experienced in that world, and I have lots of connections with lenders, mid-tier banks, other companies, to be able to finance rentals long-term. So we understand that transition. We understand how to get you there. So, that's where we are. And we love to help people build their wealth. It's super exciting to do. And it's just really gratifying. Somebody, move themselves forward in their wealth position. So I'm here. I've got my number is on the chat box. I always answer my phone, 281-923-9141. Thanks a lot. Thanks for this meeting. I've been here for a long time. Normally this time of year we'd be eating fajitas and have big fun. We usually support a big blowout.
That's right.
It's just a real different to only be online. I mean, that's so weird, but we're going to do what we're going to do, and we'll see what next year brings, huh?
Do what we do. And again, hey guys, for those who are still on here right now that are just looking at this and just hopped on, for the lenders that are on here, Natalie and Cal have both gotten us out of a pinch. You definitely want people to get your back and have your back whenever things just come apart, or things that you could already see in the future, and foresee some things that you might run into with the buyers on your properties if you're looking at selling properties. And if you're a buyer, they're awesome problem solvers, so they can solve some amazing problems for you if you're looking at buying some more investment properties. And they do it so much that they know the neighborhoods, and they can also help you plan out, for future rentals and future flips. I know we did one with Cal, and he's like, man, that buyer, they're ready for 4 or 5 more of these things. So it's really cool to see that stuff happen. So anyways, guys, this is the team. You always got to have a team around you. And if you're looking at doing flips to even wholesale deals to definitely rentals for sure, you're going to need to have everybody that's on this board right now. So it's worth being connected. So connect with these folks. All right. So let's do it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and get you guys up, and we're going to go and make this thing happen. All right. So here we go. There you go. All right, guys. So you are on this tonight, probably because you want to know a ton about Airbnb. All right. So I get questions like this. Actually, right before tonight started, got another phone call from someone who wants me to look into the future for 2021. I can't see that far, but I do know that I am going to do some Airbnbs in my portfolio. And I don't know, George might be convincing me to do everything. So we'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and let me cancel stop my share here. All right. So George, I'll tell you this, guys. I saw George in the beginning. You were doing a whole bunch of different things in the beginning. And you're testing things out, you're flipping. Did you do some wholesaling also?
Yeah, I've done like 25 wholesales.
Okay. So you've done wholesaling, you've done flipping, you've done many things. And then you move to saying, hey, look, I found out a cool little niche, right? And now that you found a niche, we're ready, man. We're ready to share. So why don't you share a little bit about your story of like how you got into real estate? I love where you came from, and how you're bringing that into your business. So let's hear it. What you got?
Absolutely, man. Gabe, first of all, I appreciate you having me, man. It's a pleasure. I love to actually serve. So like when you mentioned it, I was like, man, I love to go live and bring some value to our investor community. I've actually done business with pretty much all your sponsors. I've done business with Fast Track. I've done business with some of the other ones, the real estate, with the other couple, like 3 or 4 of them. So I was like, I'm very familiar with the, with the sponsors and the real estate community, right? So, but first of all, my journey really started when I was 6 years old. I'm from Peru, and I was actually sitting in the living room of my parents' house in Lima, and my mother walks in and she goes, George, we're actually going to move to your grandma's. And I didn't know why. So we did, and we went to live in this small little town of 50,000 people. And we were very, very poor. We actually lived in an adobe house from the age of 6. I didn't get to see my father until the age of 15. This city they call it the jungle, right? And what happened was half of the house melted because it was made out of adobe, so
wow.
Yeah, I grew up very, very, very poor. And so just being able to have the opportunity to move here at the age of 15, it opened up, my dreams. And then I was able to, just learn through going to school. And I didn't even know English when I came, so I moved here when I was 15, and actually went to high school and started in as a bartender, waiter, and I moved into the nightlife. So I did about 10 years of working in the nightlife. So I was a bartender, event promoter, and I really built a nice business from there. And I was able to invest, into a business, not even knowing how to legitimately operate a business. So like 5 years ago is when I started, 2015 or 2014, we started investing. I opened up a nightclub, and I lost everything that
wow.
everything. I saved for actually was very successful in the nightlife for 7-8 years, and I lost everything I had. We had to shut down the club. I had invested 400,000 that I had saved in 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, not knowing. This is the crazy part is that I went and I took action despite of not knowing my numbers, which is something huge. I promote now. Know your numbers.
Right.
Just make sure that you look at every area before you go crazy into one thing. So, and then I was in rock bottom. I'm sitting there. I lost everything I had. I have no gig. I have no nightclub, and I was still promoting, but I wasn't operating the club. So I really got into a bad partnership. And then after that, as soon as that closed opportunity, I had this breakthrough and I wanted to change my life, right? I didn't want to do this event thing anymore. And one day I was with my buddy, Brett Franklin from North Houston. And I own a nightclub in the Woodlands called 303 Brass Monkey at Fountain Square. That's where our first project was.
Nice.
So I'm familiar with that whole area. So
Nice.
sudden, man, start doing, just learning the real estate community and then going to every single event, attending seminars, entrepreneur seminars, real estate seminars, buying courses, buying books. And I submerged myself into every single, just area of real estate that I could to find something that could be tangible to the point that I could build something in, right? So it was wholesaling. I did my first flip in the first 4 months of just learning about real estate in 2018. Cool. So I made $46,000 on that flip, and then I started doing like 5 or 6 flips at one time, and it burned me. Yeah. Way too much, crazy, no systems, right?
Right.
And then just started wholesaling. I was able to wholesale so far about 25 properties since then. I've done a few this year. It's more like a property comes in and I take care. I just let it go if it's not for short-term rentals. But I love the short-term rental niche. It was very unique, and it allowed me to have cash because the struggle, the whole time that I was flipping and even wholesaling was building the cash coming from a zero broke industry, where I literally lost everything I had, so I had to start from zero. So learn how to do that, and I used some of my wholesale income that I earned in July of 18. I remember this date because it was the best month in my wholesaling, right? I was wholesaling, doing all this crazy stuff, and I just jumped and went and then got 8 Airbnbs at one time. So take from there to now, been able to build to 45 properties. We are growing exponentially, and now we've got 45, and 10 of those are actually houses. I own about 6 of them. 4 or 5 we manage for other investors, and then we have about 20 arbitrage. And I'll explain about arbitrage in just a second for those of you who are not very familiar with it. And then what else? And we're actually managing for other investors. We have our own houses that we own, and then 25 or 26 arbitrage. So my life has changed, and the real estate community, the real estate business, and Airbnb / short-term rentals has made that change, right? It's given me the ability to come out and actually build it so strongly that I'm really focused on helping other people grow their short-term rental businesses, right? So and expand. And I'm using this strategy to grow my portfolio. And I did all of them. I've even done, a couple under finance, but I love this because it just gives you cash continuously. So now I've got friends like you, and I network, and I love it. So
yes, this is good. So, okay. So why don't we, there's a lot there, man, a lot to unpack. And there is a lot, because I'm getting some questions already of just like, okay, there's a lot of questions. So, all right, so let's go into what you do now, kind of like the overall strategy, big, high level, so that way we could dig in deep.
So currently as I build a portfolio, I'm creating one specific full entire program that could be replicated. And as I create the program, I'm launching one phase at a time, right? Okay. So as I get a new house, which we're staging a brand new property right now, we're recording, we are creating the processes so we can replicate and teach people that exact process, even though I did it before, right? So big picture is build our portfolio And as we do it, literally just grow it. We've got all of the components already, but we're doing it more in a live sense and mass sense, right? So I want to impact more people. So I'm creating a full coaching program where I can teach people and actually it's coming out in phases.
Cool.
And as we do it, we're creating it, right? So every single day, I sit and create one piece of it. So it's a little brick by brick.
I get it.
Yes,
And
sir.
so you're creating basically a model for other people to come in and get into the Airbnb, just the whole model in itself, right?
Yes, and it's a unique model, right?
Totally.
And it's a unique model because instead of teaching people just, hey, go do arbitrage or, hey, convert your property to Airbnb, I'm really going to focus on just being specific on which properties you're going to do in Airbnb and finding those sweet spots, those better locations to do those properties. And if they're not the right properties, then not do them because you're going to end up spending money and not making it all back or just being the same as, doing a longer term rental that's not making a lot of cash flow, right? So the specific focus is on acquisitions.
Gotcha. All right. So for those who are wondering how to make money in Airbnb, let's not get into 2021 yet. All right. let's just get into the idea of everybody. And I was thinking about just earlier today, anytime someone goes on vacation, I know there's probably not a lot going on now, or anytime you go anywhere, someone all the time says it. And if you go into a real estate office when you're out of town, we were over in Canyon Lake, and I was like, well, let's start looking around for stuff. Like, it's just almost natural if you're in real estate investing of saying, why can't I own something over here? I really like this place and I could rent it out, in the meantime. And then whenever I want to come back, I just come back and we can hang out for a couple of days, and then I could go back and rent it out. Isn't that kind of how people get going and saying, man, I really want some Airbnb? Isn't that like one of the models besides the actual business model that you're doing right now?
There are three models, right? Let's break down how the person without a dime can get into Airbnb without having an investment.
Let's do it.
Then you can put a little bit of money and then you can put a lot of money, which is, as a real estate investor who already has a flip or has a wholesale deal that wants to turn it or wants to take advantage of a subject to or something like that,
Gotcha.
So the first model is what they call co-hosting, right? So when you co-host, you essentially help someone else that has an Airbnb listing and you help them host that property, right? You co-host the property or you manage the property, right? So that model can work for single people, for someone that's just getting started. It doesn't take a lot because you're literally just doing very repetitive tasks, line items that are very simple and they just can get you a little bit of experience. And it requires literally zero money in, right? And you could do it professionally also, right? And you got a brand new company, and people ask us all the time to manage their properties, and we don't. I don't advertise one penny ever, and we are selective on if we work with somebody because we don't want to manage a bunch of properties. So we want to just make sure we take care of quality, and it has to be a nicer, higher end home, right?
Gotcha.
So the second model is the arbitrage model, and essentially rental arbitrage. Rental arbitrage is when you go into either a property manager or a landlord or a real estate investor, and you partner with them by renting their property or by simply creating a deal, right? You can do the arbitrage to where you're putting in the sweat equity. You still have some type of like lease or some type of agreement with them. And then they're putting in the house, right? If a landlord is there, one creative way to do it could be the landlord puts up the house, and then the actual investor or host puts up the furnishings, and he also puts up the operations, right? So that's another model.
Okay.
The arbitrage model is when you're renting, right? Renting.
Okay.
The arbitrage is the margin between your full gross short-term rent minus your rent or in expenses.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then if we get into buying, which is the third model, You could do it through any type of acquisition strategy, whether it's converting your flip into a nice Airbnb, or doing a lease option, you eventually buy. So that's a combined strategy.
That's cool.
Right? So it's combined. And then you could do it through, owner finance, or just convert your like long-term rental into an Airbnb. And typically, I would say 70% to 80% of properties out there, if you do what you need to be doing inside this particular property, and you have the operations right, then you can make 3 to 4 times the long-term rent.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that's pretty much in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, the 3 models,
The 3 models.
Mhm.
Cool. All right, cool. So that's good. I had some questions already come in. Okay, we're not ready for those yet. All right. So how do we find these things? Like, what is the are we going by zip code? Are we going by the way they look? Are we going by a certain area? Does it have to be by a certain location?
So location is one factor. When you have a long term, is all about, there's smaller factors like like how much your mortgage is going to be versus what the long-term comps are.
Right.
So in short-term rentals, a property that, a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom that is in a desirable neighborhood, and it has great location, it has nice stuff inside, nice furnishings, right? And it's managed by Michael, let's just say. You could have an identical house next door, identical,
Okay.
with the same everything, right?
Okay.
And then they can make half of the revenue or double the revenue. You
Wow.
understand? Yeah. And then those factors are, number one is how you stage the property. Number two is how you make it look online, and they
Okay.
have to match, right? So that look is like your visibility, right? It gives you visibility. So the better it looks, the more amenities you feature, the more you're gonna get searched and booked. And when they walk in, if the property looks like the pictures and the title is attractive and then the photos are attractive, then they go in, they're gonna leave you good reviews, and you're gonna continue that trend, right? And then
Gotcha.
that's how you find a profitable property. So it's not just like, oh, let me go to AirDNA, which is a software that everybody uses. I did the same thing, right? And then there's other things. So I started studying, how do you get these properties to actually perform better, right? And it's more than just, hey, let me go find an area that's going to make money. You could have a badass beach house, right? And it could be in the best, most desirable, but if you mess up on the staging, the setup,
right,
on the look, you're not going to get the bookings. If you mess up on the staging, you're going to get bad reviews. And if you don't operate it right, then you're going to get worse reviews.
right.
There are more than one factor. So you got to have your ducks in a row to make that 3 to 4 times. So if I told you that your house would make 3 to 4 times right now, and you have no idea how to operate an Airbnb, then you literally just jump in with sharks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So just, a little bit of a breakdown like that.
Okay, cool. All right. So, all right. And so people are going to hear this. All right. And those who hear this, they're going to say, look, man, I get rent and I'm happy to cash flow, $350, $400 a month on some of these properties. It's a 3.2 in a good area and whatever, Spring, Texas, whatever, something easy. And I'm getting equity over time, and I own it myself, and I got a note on it. And when they hear you say, hey, you could probably at that dollar amount, I can imagine you could get more than triple your cash flow at that point if you own a property, right? And so what do you normally tell when people come back and they go, well, I have the rental, I'm doing the rental model, and you're like, okay, cool, I get it. The rental model's good, right? What is normally your response at that point that you're doing?
If they ask, I will tell them, hey, you can make 3 to 4 times your cash flow if you get your ducks in a row, and then you do short-term rentals, right? And the location is just one factor,
Right.
So if they ask, I'll tell them exactly that. And then, I mean, there's so many details of how to make these properties perform that, you know, I essentially give them a little bit of a breakdown, and
Right.
always try to serve and provide as much value as I can.
Game on. Game on. All right. We got to do some quick shout outs. So thanks a lot, Louisa, Mark, Robert. Robert, I don't know if you see that on there. That's your boy. Ooh, my phone just fell. He just saying, what's up, man? Hey guys, thanks a lot for sharing this with other people and just letting other people know that this is a crazy good strategy.
Hey, quick question. Gabe, how do I share this? Because I try to go into the group and share it on and my other.
It should be. It's on the group now. It wasn't on it earlier.
There it is. Okay. Oh, let me. Oops. Beautiful. Okay, got it.
I had to press the share button. Yeah, you go about there. Okay, so guys, so those who are looking at doing Airbnb, you definitely want to get a hold of George, and just really, he's got so many cool things going on right now, so many cool packages to help other people get involved. The first thing I ever heard was this whole arbitrage thing, which after a while I was like, I know a couple people. Maria does a couple things, and I'm just like, wow, you know, this is really cool process. Then you know, COVID happens. You kind of have to change models a little bit for a period of time. So just to kind of give those who might be more, I guess, conservative in their investing, more reserved in their investing, they might look at Airbnb and say, hey, look, this is kind of risky for me to do. I don't know about putting furniture into a house. I don't know about doing all these things. Sounds like a lot of work. What are you normally telling people from saying, as you transition from the COVID beginning part where I know things changed, right? In the beginning of COVID for Airbnb, and you found a way to maneuver through it, right? And I think everybody who's wanted to get involved with Airbnb was kind of like the whole, like, should I jump in? Should I not jump in? Should we, you know? And so I've seen a lot of people like, I want Airbnbs, but I'm not sure what's really going to happen right now. What have you seen happen with just this year? It's the end of 2020. Have you been hit hard, or it sounds like you've been building more and more?
Yes, I was hit very hard, very hard. And the reason is because I actually had a lot of my portfolio in one building, right? And then the majority of my old portfolio, what I did is I transitioned. The new properties, I'm spreading them out. Never put your eggs in one basket. So I had about 15 units in one building, and downtown was so dead. Right. So here I am in the middle of COVID. It's like April, 0% occupied. And I'm like, yeah. And I have got nothing. So perseverance is what I put in there. And I literally just dug deep into learning how to price these little listings and then make sure that I apply certain changes over time, tweak them, test them, right? And they worked. So I'm not saying I lost money in April, but every other month has been great, right? And then May came around, and those strategies, it took me about a month to really figure out what to really make sure it works, right? So I did a lot of things in April. Then May comes around, I'm 0.8 occupied at the beginning of May, and then I end up with like 77%. And I was like, oh my goodness. So wow. In the whole entire last 2 months, it was applying what I learned in April about making the changes I needed. So just being in this position, despite of the money that I lost, everyone loses money, right? And right. When you're investing, you're taking a risk. So this isn't for someone that doesn't right? And then when you're in COVID, that's even a bigger risk. Right. Because you're in the middle of a lockdown where no one can really go out, or people are in this whole entire last 2 months. Yeah. So that happened. And essentially, I apply what I learned and what I learned through the entire pandemic. And then as I apply more, things continue to increase. And so in June, the industry came back. So all these strategies, it actually made me go up higher because I was putting these strategies that had already worked. Nice. So I had the capital coming in. I didn't die, right? I thought I was going to, but then I persevered. I kept going, and nothing was going to stop me. So that's it's mindset too, because anybody could give up and say, "Look, screw it." I'm going to give it all up. But then, you got to know when to quit. And I learned this from the book called The Dip from Seth Godin. You got to be very strategic on when to quit, right?
Right.
Now the industry is back. I don't think it is as strong as maybe it was like January and December last year, maybe just a tweak down. But with this IPO, I keep seeing, a lot of new clients every single day. So Airbnb is only going to get bigger, and
Wow.
more and more people are going to use it. So it's heading in a direction to where, because of the IPO, in my opinion, the company is going to get even 10 times more popular, right? And when it does, more people are going to use it. Obviously, more people want to go teach it, but only the ones that are strong, that stayed there, are going to, continue to grow, in my opinion. I think a lot of people are going to come and try to do this, and it's going to become a red ocean. But you've got to have the strategy from the get-go, and you got to know that when you fall and then you've came back up, that's big, right?
Yeah.
It's not very many people do, and I've seen so many Airbnb short-term rental companies just be gone, and I could have been one of those. But the work ethic and the perseverance, the strength, the mind, if that's there, then you're gonna keep fighting, right? So
Totally.
yeah, I thought I'll share that, brother.
Totally. No, that's really good. I'm looking through. All right, so let's get into some of the nuts and bolts of stuff. So how is this thing, one of the things that we're going to talk about is just basically just the way that you do the management and how you've seen people do the management, how it can help you through the revenue can actually be better than others in even the slow season, right? And so that's one of the benefits of what's going on here, right? And with Airbnb, and from my understanding, you're seeing different stuff coming up in 2021, and you're basically hedging yourself in a unique way. So how are you going about doing that? Like,
So first of all, management doesn't just appear, right? So if you're doing, like, I would not suggest someone to jump into this business and do 20, 30 properties right away, because I did that and it kind of bit me a little bit, right? So I had to go back and build the system. So I was obligated to build them, right?
Right.
So I went back and created the processes. Now the processes are there, and the team is there, right? And when you have both, then you can grow, right? Okay. So that's why I started taking, just clients that asked me, hey, let me set up this property for you. And they ask if I could find them something. And I'm like, let me help you out. Sure, I'll suggest. And some of them are students, some of them are just clients that want something done for you. And then they become management clients, right? So because we are capable of doing that, that's why we're jumping into that realm, right? Where
that's cool.
We can offer that extra value to people. But jumping into 2021, my biggest suggestion to anybody watching out there is that whatever you do, right? If you convert it into an Airbnb and short-term rental, just make it as unique as possible, because people are there's so many Airbnbs, and it's gonna get there, and people are gonna go for those unique properties, and the ones that don't just call the attention, the ones that are more different, right? So we're upping like by 50, 60%. Now every property was staged. We're just exercising, our experience, and then adding all the little things that we didn't add before, right? And when it comes to management, we're adding that too, and that's automated for us now. So I'll talk about it a little bit after how we automated the entire management, but since we're discussing about acquisitions, but being able to know your numbers, find the right sweet spots, and identifying which properties are going to generate whether you're an investor or a landlord. If your property doesn't work, that's just one factor. Staging it correctly, making it look beautiful, that's 3. And then your operations have to be on point, right? So now when, as an investor, you don't want to go manage or start a management company, right?
Correct.
So there's 2 ways that you can do it passively, right? One way is you go build a team, all right? You go build a team, and then your team manages for you, right?
Right.
And then that takes a little bit of time, unless you get courses, you get coaching, and you buy them, right? Which is the shortcut, or
Right.
accelerator, or you hire a management company, right? So, and then the industry is good enough that even with a management company, you can still make a nice profit. Obviously, not as much, you
Right.
know, and especially if you don't have that properly staged correctly. But when it comes to management, there are some points, you know, that I would definitely strongly suggest. Like price and revenue management is one of the most important things in your business. So if you don't know how to price your properties correctly, how to fill those empty holes, and then how to work the weekends versus the weekdays, and you know, work the cleaning fee into the price and all that, that could be a big just reason why you're not cash flowing.
Right. Right. And so, I mean, I've seen people do Airbnbs. I've seen them pull up on the phone and said, you know, and they're doing stuff. We'll be having lunch, and they're changing prices and doing all different type of stuff within like a, you know, and it's pretty quick, pretty fast paced at that point. They don't have a lot, but they're going through it as if they are a property management. And for me, in my perspective, I would look at it and go, man, that's kind of like running a hotel room or something like that, or running a hotel, because it's like, it's so much customer service. But I've also seen folks like you that, and I wanted to, you know, really hammer on that for those who are looking to get involved, that there are some really cool options, just as much as there are options for having property management companies, you know, manage your properties for rentals, right? Like you don't have to do all the work. You don't have to go do all of those things, right? That also means you're not going to have all of the cash flow for yourself, but you do have an asset, right? And you are growing. And so this is kind of the same thing, right, George? Is what I'm really hearing is that you guys are saying like, hey, there's other models to choose besides you're the only one on your phone changing prices, make sure you're booking, doing all the bookings, the ins and outs, cleaning, stuff like that. Someone comes out at, you know, they're leaving at 10 o'clock. You're getting somebody else in that afternoon, or hopefully you do. So I saw stuff in the beginning of this year, and I'm like, man, my head is not in that place. So whenever I saw you come out with doing like these different, like a different model of going, hey, look, there's a property management way. There's a way for you to do it where you can manage these things and you don't have to be the only one doing it. I was like, oh, this actually sounds really cool.
Exactly. So, yeah, I don't think that you or any real estate investor wants to build themselves another job, right? That's what we're not. We didn't become entrepreneurs to do that. And being an Airbnb host, it is that, unless, number one, you hire a property manager or a co-host, right? Or you build a team. And then I built my team with a lot of virtual assistants, right? And I've tried local help, and now majority of my team, I built it with virtual assistants, and they run my front desk, and then they pretty much deal with the repetitive, all the everyday tasks, client services, you know, reservations, check-in. There are a lot of details like in a reservation, you know, like lots of changes. They're going to ask you for questions. They want to upgrade this, early check-in or late checkout. So these are little things, take time. If you're looking at your phone all day, they're distractions. So I noticed that, and I'm like, wow, you know, this is a little crazy. So for anybody watching out there, you don't have to go that route, you know. And if you are capable of, and everyone here is, you know, of training somebody, bringing in, you know, like that's why I even put my first online course is actually how to build a team of virtual assistants, because I noticed that was a deficit in the market, right? I came out with it. So I tell, like I tell my friends, I'm like, look, you don't need to be doing all of these smaller tasks, right? Because you're busy. It's like a full-time job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you don't have a VA, and you know, when we first got started in real estate, VAs were kind of like, everybody was like, oh yeah, get a VA, get a, you know, And no one really talked about training the VA, right? And training your assistants that are around you. And the reality is it's a process, right? And if you have some good people that are coachable, are ready to grow, I mean, mine are on here right now, so not everyone sees them, but they're on the back end of everything going on right now, you know, making sure things are working good. And I'm watching our chat on the side. So, you know, the goal is over time, you train them up, you know, you don't have to, you know, it just like anybody else, it's just a normal person that's in your business on a day-to-day helping you grow your business. One of the things I like to think to keep on going forward is about managing these properties. And by the way, guys, there's a couple of shout outs that I need to give to a couple of people. I know Mark was, there's a couple of people that shared it. Thanks a lot, guys, for sharing it. Just because it just helps out. We want to be able to help you. If you think that it's really good for someone you know and you need to connect them to George, connect with them to George. Just link them and you can put them on Messenger. He's on social all over the place anyways. So yeah, if you have any questions for him right now, let me know and we'll be able to ask him questions. But the team aspect of it is what I really like about what you're doing with Airbnb, right? So you're building up. Now, you did mention something I want to highlight because I have a feeling that you're a go-getter, especially with you buying so many up front and then learning trial by fire. What have you seen people, what about for who just wants to kind of go in a little bit at a time, you know, where they're just buying one at a time, you know, just like they would a rental, maybe a little bit quicker. But, you know, they want to buy one every 3 months or every month or not every month, every 6 months. And they're just like, oh, I want to buy one just to kind of see all the things that need to happen. I've seen people getting stuck and I've also seen it be a blessing. I've seen it getting stuck in a way where they don't want to release control. They don't know how to release that control yet of like, well, I want to know the whole inner workings of the whole business before I give it away. Right. Not knowing, by the way, that by doing that, that means that you're tied to the property even longer, right? And then there's this other way of, which I would personally choose, which was, hey, grab some property and put it into a property manager and learn as you go, right? Get somebody who's really experienced. So what about those who just, you know, who don't want to buy 10 at a time?
Oh man, you know, I would never suggest anyone to that was crazy. That was crazy. So that is the best way to do it, right? Because as you get one, you're going to learn how to do it. And I, you know, I'm very adamant about learning with a mentor or buying a course out there. There are so many courses out there, you know, and you have to get some kind of education for you to be able to not make those mistakes. Right. That you will make if you don't. And there's no one out there to tell you that you made a mistake if you don't, right? So I wouldn't tell anybody to go jump into 10 or go do it without knowing anything about it, right? They need to do their research and they need to be able to, especially those two to three factors, right? If you list a property and that doesn't look good at all, you're never going to get bookings. You're going to get lowest, you're not going to get what you're worth. And then when they go in there, you got to stage it correctly. And don't get me wrong, I did it all by trial and error. When I first staged, it was like, I would just go to Walmart, right? I did this. So I've done every area of my business except for cleaning. So that's why I know every little thing, right? And we would get all these things, but no, never again. So wow. I wouldn't suggest, I say, go learn it. We have a lot of programs that we're creating and we have currently. So if it's not us, go to anybody out there that has a good program and learn it. But don't get stuck without doing it. If you really have the desire to do it, and there is opportunity, right? So don't take the no because you're afraid. Don't let the fear go. Just make sure you do your homework, have your numbers up to par, and failing is a little bit a part of learning, right? So everyone fails. So if you learn and you fail a little bit, you get back up stronger. You're going to continue to grow as a leader, as a person, as a business owner. So just because you don't know anything about it or you don't have a property manager doesn't mean you don't have to do it.
Dude, I was just thinking, this is, if you fail and if you have a house as a rental and you put a tenant in there and you fail with that, that's actually pretty expensive. You got a tenant, you have to evict, you got to go through the whole process and everything, right? If you
Correct.
fail with Airbnb and you get the wrong person in there, you're looking at maybe a couple days, right? I mean, you're not looking at they're going to be in there for 3 months and not going to pay you and you can't get them out or any of this stuff. Then you got to go to court and then you got to, I mean, really, you're looking at not very long of you going, okay, I learned from that one. Let me move on. So is that right?
Well, I meant essentially failing to the point that because you didn't do the right line items, that you actually because you didn't do the right line items, meaning you didn't do your homework at first, you didn't know your numbers, and then you didn't stage the property correctly, right?
Right.
My little puppy right here. You didn't list, get the better pictures, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the reason why. Sorry, my computer needs to.
Oh, you're good.
So that's the reason why you would fail, right? Not if an actual guess doesn't work.
Right. So it sounds like if you fail, you could, what my point though is you could come back actually you could come back quicker if you fail in Airbnb than if you fell on a rental property. Now you hold on to an asset that you're like, oh man, I bought it wrong. I'm putting all this money into it. I got all these repairs going on and I have tenants in there that totally destroyed it. And now I got to evict them. What I'm saying is that's kind of a longer process, right? To learn that lesson opposed to an Airbnb lesson that you do your numbers. And I'm just kind of talking to those who might be hesitant to get into it. You know, if this is your first one and you have someone helping you through it, you might be able to tweak those numbers faster than you would on a rental property.
Well, I mean, if you get a tenant that doesn't pay you rent, you're in big trouble.
Right.
Right. Because it's going to take you 3-4 months. And right now, I mean, I guess the law ends at the end of this month, right?
Right.
So you will really be in trouble because it'll take you 3-4 months to evict them. Right.
Right.
So if you fell in the process doing Airbnb, you can actually fix that in a matter of 15 to 20 days, fix up the property, get new photos. So these tweaks aren't huge tweaks or aren't huge failures. They're smaller.
Right.
They need to be taken care of. And you could tweak things as you go. You don't have to start with a luxurious property with
Right.
Nice. You can upgrade to it.
Wow.
Right? Just a quick example. I've got several listings that I upgraded and it has increased the income by 30, 40, 50%. It's crazy.
Wow.
And when I started, it was just like, my first house a year and a half ago. I didn't know how to stage a house. So I did it and it was missing this, it was missing that. It didn't have enough room for people. I didn't have enough tenant availability there, right? So that's big on Airbnb. The number of people is a big factor of how much your revenue is going to be. So I did it, and then I was happy making $3,500 in a property or $4,000 because that's way more than I would have ever gotten as a long-term rental.
Right.
Then now the same property is making $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, which is crazy for a house.
Wow.
So, just those small tweaks can make a big difference. And I put $5,000 into that property. Extra. Wow. It was an extra bed here, nice art, an entrance at the table, I know it's a lot of information. So if I'm
no, dude, I'm pretty sure there's thousands of people like me, man, or hundreds at least that are like, dude, just tell me more. This is really good. It's so interesting. Let's get into let's get into some of the stuff that we're going to shift to toward the second part. Before we go, like really, really granular, 2021. All right, you're planning your whole year out probably. What's that?
100%.
Yeah. So what are you, and I know I see some of the stuff you're doing kind of the same with us. You're always looking at coaching programs and learning and just learning awesome new things for this coming season. What are you seeing coming with what you're doing, and how are you getting set up that might be just beneficial for other people to know what to be looking for?
I am fixing to go into a little more niche markets, right?
Cool.
Where I'm able to identify with here's the before. Hey, this looks really good. It's downtown. Let's go. I think we'll make a lot of money. How much is an Airbnb making? Oh, they're renting for $80. Cool, dude. We could make like 80 times 30. Okay, cool. That's $3,200 if we get 100, right? Let's do it. Okay, let me figure out exactly what this property is going to revenue in the next year. That's the potential, right?
Right.
Then I'm going to break down this revenue and I'm going to minus my expenses, put it in the spreadsheet and figure it out, all that upfront stuff.
Right.
And then I'm going to go and stage this property correctly. I've got everything we actually put in our listings, from like a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 5-bedroom,
Nice.
in a spreadsheet, right? And stage it correctly, and then put these nice pictures, great description, and upgrade it as we go. Test and tweak, right? So that would be one of the bigger things, I think. So if you don't get any kind of knowledge and you just start, you don't know how much better you could do, or if you're doing bad, right? If you're happy with $2,000 in your Airbnb and it could be making 3,000 and you don't know it,
Right.
how do you do that? Because that's the reason for education, right? So as I lean onto 2021, unlike never before, I am step by step, quarter by quarter, planning out how we're going to build a portfolio and not go just all of a sudden and do this deal, this deal here, this deal there. I'm taking several leadership and sales trainings, leadership training. Darren Hardy just launching a big 1-year program. I joined that.
Awesome.
So it's called Hero's Journey, and it's all about leadership, and that's a great people skill. That's a skill that you need to be able to thrive as a leader.
Right.
Essentially, right? You cannot just improve in my opinion, your skills in business. You also have to take care of yourself, and you have to go back and literally look at the reason why you are where you are, right? So I looked at myself back and I figured out, hey, I'm here, but I could be there. So I went back and figured out what areas of my life needed help.
Right.
And it was leadership, it was spirituality, it was team. I was learning how to manage a team. So all that self, so in a sense,
good.
Be prepared for 2021, but don't just learn the skill. Have all the areas of your life.
Right. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's coming up for 2021. And COVID helped us out a ton in a way of helping all of us to really realize what's valuable to us and what do we really want to focus on, especially if you're involved in real estate investing. Typically, people who are involved in real estate investing are looking at it as a supplemental to begin with, and then, or, a changing of career, changing of pace, changing of other stuff, not realizing that it can easily overwhelm you. I mean, real estate's really one of the most complicated businesses because a lot of things can fall apart. You're running 2 companies at the same time, really, and most don't know that. You're really running a marketing company, marketing and sales side, and then you have the actual real estate side of the asset itself, right? And especially if you're holding on to the asset. So there's really 2 companies, and it's not till you get into it that you go, I think I'm running 2 companies, so that happens. So as far as what you see happening in the industry or in the marketplace, are you seeing that, hey, this thing's still going? There's still a massive need. Many people, I mean, we're in the Houston market for those who don't know, and that we're part of North Houston Real Estate Investors. But if you're, I got some buddies that are in Florida that just shared it. By the way, thanks a lot, John. Thanks a lot, Sean, for sharing. If anybody has questions, let us know. We'll be happy to answer them. But this is one of them, is just what's happening. What is the market telling us about how to prepare in the Airbnb model for 2021?
For 2021, people are looking for privacy. They're looking for flexibility. So your houses are going to work so much better. Unique places, more far away, away from an apartment complex or a hotel. Those still work. But anything downtown is down by 20-30%.
Wow.
Everything outside, houses are up, and then unique places are even higher, right? And there's only domestic travel right now. So what happens when foreign travel opens up again in a few months when the vaccine has hit? Right. So in my opinion, 2021 is going to be a blowout for the short-term rental market, because once people start traveling again, no matter what time of the year it is, you're going to have this huge wave, right? And it's going to be a different market. So all the stuff that was done before, all the online courses, all the YouTube videos, all the training, everything, it's a completely different industry now.
Right.
People don't like the same. The needs, like the human needs are not going to be the same ever again.
Right.
So look for these properties. They're going to be looking for certain aspects that are going to meet those needs, right? So, and then you got to know that privacy. They're going to want to be more away. They want flexibility, last minute, right? They want to be away from people walking in and out, like hotels or even apartment complexes or high rises that have those short-term rentals, right? So they still get booked. You just don't get the number that you
right.
for. So if you're going to go into 2021, I would say, be unique. Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
When are you getting one?
What's that?
When are you getting an Airbnb?
Man, I got one right now that I'm like, I'm not asking this questions just for everybody else. Like, I'm looking at some of the questions like, this is a good one. This is for me. So this is really good, man. Okay, so let's see. Let me go through some of these. All right. Check here. All right. So we went over to a lot of stuff, definitely the area. I love the idea of being unique in 2021. Guys, just to add into that, there's a ton of people that are coming to the state of Texas, right? From all over the place. They just like us. They like the way that we do our taxes, the way that, things run here, the way the economy runs here. And so there's a lot of stuff. We have a lot of big industry that's coming in here. When big industry comes in, obviously there's people that are going to need places to move. So, we talk about that a lot on the flip side, but on the Airbnb, they got to move here first, right? So when you're looking at this stuff, we say short term, let's just clarify. We're not just talking about a couple of days sometimes. Sometimes we're talking about 2-3 weeks, couple months almost, right?
We just got a booking. And this is, I would say, out of our portfolio, it's 46 or 47, right? Your normal standard booking is going to be like 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
Right. So we have certain areas that have longer bookings, and
cool.
And you can cater to that type of crowd more. It could be nice too, but your price start going down a little bit. You don't make as much margin, right? And then we just got a booking in one of these houses, and the house, the mortgage is like $1,100, right? And this is a property we manage for a client. Good friend of mine actually, and he got 60 days booked for $10,300. Insurance companies are coming. Companies are booking for their workers.
Wow.
Right? 1 month, 2 weeks, 30 days. We just also released a property in the medical center area, and despite of all the there's nothing going on in our G and rodeo and that, we're still getting a lot of long-term bookings, 2 weeks.
Wow.
For higher rates, which is pretty cool, right? So
wow. So you said that's 60 days right there?
60 days for $10K on a $1,100 mortgage payment.
All right, so $2,200 out just for mortgage at least. Wow.
After the Airbnb fees, one cleaning fee, $200, right? Obviously, this is just a very once in a year thing, right? But you're gonna get 32 weeks, 3 weeks. So, but the opportunity is there, and if you average it out, at the end of your year, you're always going to be between 2.5 to 3.5.
Wow. Okay. Hey, check this out. I got a question. This is good because we're going to get some nitty gritty stuff. What about insurance? Okay. So are you carrying your own short-term leasing insurance or the Airbnb insurance? How's that set up on these properties?
Absolutely. If you own the property, if you're a real estate investor, right? You utilize your dwelling insurance or
right.
the insurance that you're utilizing for your home, rental insurance. And then you add those clauses. One clause needs to be being able to actually do short-term rentals, right? And the other clause needs to be what happens when there is a loss of, or, like a claim, right? So loss of income, and there's so many names for it, but loss of income is your second point. And then if you are doing arbitrage, you can utilize a few companies, Proper Insurance, Safely. My buddy, actually, he's friends with me with Facebook. We're starting to use Safely. So that's another way to protect your property, right? Using a third-party insurance. And these guys pay much faster. They're professionals, and they work with a lot of short-term rental operators, right? So they'll protect you from damages, and they'll pay you faster. The
Cool.
other way is utilizing channels like VRBO that allow the client to actually purchase an insurance plan. So there's $59, or $79, or $99, so deductible, right? That's another way. And then third or fourth, it would be protecting it through their own policy, right? So VRBO has $1 million policy, I believe, or maybe HomeAway. Airbnb has two types of policies. One is going to be your like host protection and then host liability. The host protection essentially covers you for damages, right? And then the liability insurance covers you for liability to your property if it burns down or someone gets hurt. We've had someone that broke they broke the glass, the shower glass, and they cut themselves. So they don't sue us, and there's insurance that takes care of it, right?
Right.
And that's for these cases. And their Airbnb is actually very good when it comes to providing the client and the host protection against liability. Where I've seen it, it was so quick because they have a third-party insurance company. Now,
Right.
when it comes to damages, this is non-real estate damages, right? Non-real estate, this would be property. Then they're a little bit tougher to the host. It takes longer. You got to know the process. They don't make it easy for you, So at the end of the day, if you have some kind of basic knowledge of how to create a claim, you get paid for it. And I would say we get, it used to be 9 out of 10. They've been way tougher. Now it's maybe 7 out of 10 claims. And look, they're making it so much harder. So there's so many ways to protect it, right? People have flooded one of my second floors before. And it took me, I have contractors. So my contractor company, or we, like our Houston Home Fixers, which is one of my LLCs that has done the rehabs, will do the contracting, and we'll hire somebody, right? And then Airbnb took, I would say 2 months to pay us for this small item, and they just paid us last week. And we had to pay up front, right? And then to fix, and then we invoiced, and we sent it to Airbnb, and it took 2 months, but it was worth the wait, because what this entity did it for was a little bit less than what we invoiced. And you can always invoice retail, right? Or you can hire a third-party contractor, invoice this company,
right,
and do it retail. But there are ways to protect it. So I would never let that particular reason not allow me from doing a property that seems really good for short-term rentals.
That's good, man. Good.
Four ways, right?
Yeah. That's good. Cool. Awesome. All right. Sorry, my mind's going on the whole insurance thing. That's good. All right. So let's see what else we have. The questions that you guys have. We went over 21 also. Some of these are repeats.
No worries.
Maria had the question on the insurance. So we went over the whole thing of like, hey, look, people are coming into Houston area or Texas in general. Definitely went over the area. I really like the idea that you don't have to be looking at like every 2 or 3 days. That's what I was going to share. As you were talking, I really like the idea of looking for those who are, like you said, there's one cleaning fee on that one house, right? And so you definitely don't want to, it doesn't seem like the model is you want to go and be in a position or being in a place where your cleaning fees are pretty much every 3-4 days, or every 3 days you're having new cleaning fees and stuff. And it sounds like it's on you're putting cleaning fees on the person who's renting out the place, right?
Absolutely.
Right. But what cost of any of this comes back on you from the turnover?
There's more energy costs, more water,
Yeah.
gas, all that, and there's definitely more wear and tear on your property.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Sometimes they'll even if you put non-smoking signage all over the place, they'll still break the rules sometimes. So there's definitely more wear and tear on your property. But I think you could fix, and once they get out, you can go in there and fix it.
Right. That's cool. Cool. All right. So guys, I just want to remind you, so those who are on here, if you want to get involved with doing Airbnb, just by talking about this whole thing, I would not dare do it myself. I've gotten to a place in what we do in my business and what stuff, like we have VAs and, I have VAs that kick my butt saying, hey, Gabe, why are we redoing that? Like, you get back on point. They help me stay on track sometimes, which is really good. And so, and I love it. Okay. Yeah, we answered that question. And so, man, what was I going to say? If it wouldn't be something that I would do, if I didn't have help doing it at my stage of what I want. So I would definitely look at buying something and going to someone like George and say, hey, listen, I got something that looks like a pretty good asset. I kind of want to hold on to it. But what can you do? Right. And what would you be able to provide so that way I can figure out if this is even a good thing to hold on to, or should I move on from this property or whatnot? And that's a lot of time to George, for those who don't know, because he'd have to go and assess those things. But I'm pretty sure there's a service that you provide that can help investors go, okay, look, the most of these I want is 3 or 4 of these things. I just want to test this stuff out, but I don't want to go and be that involved. And we see that in every industry: mobile home parks, RV parks, apartments, storage units, single family housing. It's the same thing on all this stuff, where you don't want to you're not creating a job, right? You're creating a business, right? And so someone comes into this and they want to get a hold of you and they want to connect with you. What are some of the things that you're helping them through? Are you just helping them through your coaching program? Say, hey, look, this is the best thing to get started? Or?
Well, essentially, because I have such a close relationship with a lot of the investors here, I've gotten tons of referrals, and I've created a turnkey service. I don't market it. It's literally through referrals. As I create my coaching program, in the coaching program, I've already helped 2 different groups, right? So the coaching program essentially helps someone do it on their own, and then the turnkey service, which is my management company, finds the actual properties for them, right? I'm working with an investor right now, and you won't believe this, but I found him properties that are going to do over $100K a year, and it took me a couple hours, but in that I'm actually utilizing this processes as I actually do this for other clients. I'm also creating the next program, right?
Right.
And helping people. I wouldn't be able to scale if I actually did the service for everyone. But if I can put the word out and create replicable tool or program that allows other people to take this program and learn how to find those same properties in a different market, in a different area, because they're so all over the place. They just have to be specific with certain things. That's the reason why I'm actually building it. And my mission is to impact the real estate community, right? So
right, absolutely. Yeah, and you're totally doing that.
Yeah, and I forgot to name my I guess my personal site is just George Salas 360, and then the Facebook group where I put the content is elevateyoursdr.com. So if you go to and you put on Facebook Airbnb, or you actually type in your browser Elevate Your SDR, it'll take you to Facebook, right? So that's my Facebook group, and if anybody needs to contact me, it's GeorgeSalas 360. So I'll be happy to help.
Game on. I got let me see. There's some that just popped on whenever you.
Sure.
Any advice about securing your stuff whenever you're renting one of your rooms? That's a good question.
and people are just people, right? So I don't have any shared, but if you tell them where the access is and you have a camera inside, and you actually disclose that, that you have a camera on the listing, make it very clear, they won't steal. But if essentially people are people, so sometimes you'll have those bad people. So I would say lock up your most important stuff. And right now, because of COVID, I don't think that model is going to be hot at all.
What model is that? The room model?
The room model where you're going into a house with strangers, even if it's the owners who are room sharing, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that model is going to work at all.
Okay, cool. That's really good, because I know that I get those questions a lot, and I have those questions because you hear people talking about room sharing, or, hey, I have, you'll see it on Facebook Marketplace where, hey, I got this extra room that I'm renting out, and, it's a third bedroom. We don't really need it, trying to generate more cash. But it's a good point, with COVID, I don't know.
If you have a house and it has, it doesn't have, depending on, obviously you can't have stucco or bricks, right? You need to have hardy on the outside. I actually created, in one of my flips that I turned into an Airbnb, I created a door for that particular room, in case we turn that one. We're still renting the entire house, but we have an extra door. So if you have the ability to do that and that room has access, create a door so they can access straight into the room. And then if they need to use the bathroom, right, you tell them where the bathroom is, but they access the room from the front. And to do that, it's going to cost you $400, right? To
right.
jump on the wall, have some, maybe $500. So it shouldn't be that expensive. That's another way to maximize one room. So they have
That's a good way to put it. So, see who asked that. That's a good tip. Jason, what's up? Good to see you, dude. All right, guys. So that is a lot of stuff, dude. Do we have your we don't have your links and stuff on here, guys, in the chat. We're gonna put, and whenever this is done, we'll go ahead and put his information up on here, so that we connect. Go ahead and say it again of where to connect with you on.
Absolutely. GeorgeSalas360.com. It's my personal website, so you can find all my social medias in there. And then my Facebook group for Airbnb and short-term rentals is Elevate Your STR. But you can just search Airbnb Houston and or my name, and then the group will pop up.
That's Airbnb. Awesome. Elevate Your SDR.
STR.
Short-term. Elevate Your STR.com.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.com. Awesome. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and just wrap it up. This has been awesome. Hey, guys, I just want to remind you also, we've been doing this for a while. Like I said, this would have been our fifth, if we could hold it, our fifth Christmas party. But we normally blow that room out. When we do Christmas parties, we're hitting, I don't know, 120s to 150s. It all depends on the time of year and stuff, or the time of the winter, cold, whatever, rain. But normally we're hitting 120, 150 people in a room, and we just can't do that nowadays in the small hotel room. But just remind you that we're always looking for property. So here's our contact information. We're looking for land. We do buy from land to RV parks, mobile home parks, single family all day long. That's the easy one. And then we're looking for people to JV with. And like George said, he JVs with a lot of folks. I trust him. He's been doing it for a while. We've been doing this for a while. If you need help negotiating with sellers, it's one of our strengths of just helping you lock up a deal, help you with the seller. Sometimes we don't charge at all. We like to help people out, get their foot in the door, and get going from there. So that's about it. Yeah, go ahead, and here's our contact information if you want to get a hold of us, and we'll also put on here. So again, if you want to get a hold of George, you want to know more about just the whole Airbnb, you want to pick his brain more on 2021, just connect with him. He's easy to connect with. You just message him on Facebook, and he'll probably connect with you back, send you to one of his VAs maybe, and you go from there. George, I really do appreciate it. Let me see.
Yeah, let's answer all the questions.
Yeah. Oh, he was just saying, Jason was just saying that he's been watching you. Okay, cool. Awesome. He was just basically saying that he's been watching you go through all the stuff and that you've been helping him out. So guys, he's got a lot of content out there too. If you want to follow him, he's got some cool stuff. Like just follow him on social and it should be able to help you out a ton. Let me cancel that out. Did the screen go off? It should have.
On Facebook?
Is it just you and me? Did the screen stop sharing?
Oh yeah, it's not sharing anymore.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah. So guys, connect with him on those things. My questions have all been answered and I'm literally going over the properties in my head saying, what about this one? What about this one? And especially for going into 2021, the biggest thing that, my question was the management of the property, right? And to make sure that, hey, if I'm going to buy something that's Airbnb and I could get 2 or 3 times, I want to make sure that I could get 2 or 3 times, right? If I'm going to grab something myself. And I'm a buyer. I'd rather hold on to something. It's just kind of who I am. I don't know about the whole arbitrage thing. I like the idea. I know friends who do the model, right? You do the model, but I'm just the type of person that's like, you know what? I already have this thing. Would this work? Right? So that was, that solved a lot of my questions also.
Yeah, we, just actually put out there a program for building their short-term rental front desk or team with virtual assistants. So I put together every single step of how.
When do you do that? When's that?
I built an online course, just launched it last week.
Okay. How do we get a hold of that?
VSTRformula.com, VS and Victor, STR. So virtual short-term rentals, VSTRformula.com. And you can check out the course. I literally just launched it, brother. So it's been recording and really putting all the resources together. It walks you how to literally build your team with virtual assistants, so you don't have to go through the trials and tribulations of really growing a team here locally yet, right? And then when you scale it, you can do that. But utilizing the virtual assistant, so I cover how to hire, how to find them, how to scout them, recruit them, and then how to bring them on board, train them, onboard them, the whole 9 yards, and then use them to scale your business. Just leverage them and manage them, right? So everything is covered, and I hold nothing back.
That's so good. So VSTR, what was it? Formula.com. Now, is there a Facebook page or anything you have with that, or a group or anything that you have going with that?
Well, the group is the old Airbnb group I have. And then for anyone that buys, they get onto the student group, right? Which is a smaller community, and people can ask any questions they want in that regards to coaching. But the main group is Airbnb with George Salas, or in short-term rentals. So that's a Facebook group where anyone could join that wants to learn about short-term rentals. And we actually put content there, put our YouTube videos on there, and and anyone can ask us questions too. So,
wow, that's cool.
You should join it.
What's that?
You should join it.
I know, man. I need to get someone just, okay, cool. Awesome. All right, guys. That's it for tonight, guys. This is awesome. Get a hold of him. This is going to be, we'll go ahead and we'll put it back out there. We'll put this on our YouTube also and connect on there. Dude, this is exciting. It's really cool because you need, the way I see 2021 is, it's way different than where people would say in the beginning of this whole COVID thing, and just let those know who don't. Those who were around in 2008 were like, man, I'm getting excited, because they could kind of see some opportunities come about, right? And those opportunities won't be here in the same way. And, things don't happen the same way twice, right? And even from what you said from the beginning of this year of Airbnb, the single room rent out model is changing, right? And so that's something really important for people to see, because people were probably looking at this going, okay, cool, I want to do Airbnb and just rent out my extra room. And now you're like, hey, dude, whoa, wait a second here. Let's look at some other avenues, right? It's golden, man. There's so much cool stuff that's there. And then just to look at some of the other tools in the tool belt and letting this be some of them, even if your whole model isn't going to be, I'm going to choose only Airbnb model, right? Because I don't know about you, but do you know folks that are just, this is all they do? Or you're saying most people kind of, this is an extra tool in their tool belt?
No, I know a lot of people that this is full time for them.
Game on.
They manage, or they do arbitrage full time, or they're investors who actually do this full time and own a lot of properties, or, you know, just, or do arbitrage. Right. So I know a lot of people. I mean, obviously I'm in that community, and I see it, and it could definitely be, I mean, an extra $1,000 a property could change someone's life.
Right.
Make a big difference. So why not try it? And why not go for it? So don't stop yourself. Right.
Yeah. So those who are listening that are looking to get involved, this is definitely the guy that you want to get a hold of. It's, to me, it's exciting because I'm like, there's an avenue for those to get involved with not 100K of capital, without 20K of capital, without not having to go through the whole marketing idea of, okay, let me market the whole marketing of, you know, getting involved with wholesaling. A lot of people like to start with wholesaling because there's cash and there's other stuff there. But you know, there's also the whole marketing side where you're dumping money into it, or you're driving for dollars and you're doing stuff. And typically you're not Airbnb in a house that you're driving for dollar, the type of neighborhood that you're driving for dollars in, and from my understanding. Right.
Right.
So this is a good opportunity for people to get involved who in real estate investing, who might not want to put up all the capital. And see, I always thought as you got to put up capital for the furniture and for this and for that and for all these things to get set up. And I'm looking at it from my business experience, George, and I'm going, it's not bad, because the wholesale industry, whenever you're looking at wholesaling and like real legitimate wholesalers, you got a marketing budget that you need to spend every month. It's not like, oh, I don't know if I want to spend it or not. No, you have to spend your money every single month in marketing to make sure that deal flow is coming in, right? And getting the phone to ring, contacting people, doing all that stuff. It sounds like this is way different. So it's really exciting.
But if you as a wholesaler, right, if you already are spending money and you are already having to negotiate with the sellers,
Mm-hmm.
and then you already getting these properties under contract, right? Adding a twist such as, you know, like, hey, would you, not obviously this is 1 out of 10, but the twist could be, would you like us to take over your payments and let's get you out of this? Like, let me help you out, you know, and that's how they can create their cost flow, because selling everything, one day once you're done wholesaling as an investor, right? You can turn around and see that you are done. Unless you build a legitimate company now with if I'm done tomorrow and I never want to Airbnb again, those properties aren't going anywhere.
Right.
They're going to be there for as long as I want to Airbnb them. So if I go on vacation tomorrow, they're still going to be making money, and I got my team here, and you got to take advantage of opportunities. It's not always about the big chunks, and a lot of the times it is, you know, as a wholesaler, but keep some. That's what I guess, you know, the experienced real estate investors tell us, right? Keep some property. So I love that aspect of us too, you know, that
cool.
We want to keep and we want to buy it and build equity. I love that. So I suggest that to anyone, and you could do it if you're a wholesaler by just changing the strategy with one tweak, right?
Game on.
Yes, sir.
Game on. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a night for this awesome event. Thanks, you guys, for chirping on here. Go ahead and share it with other folks, because you could always go back on. This is going to get posted right now, and it'll go on our YouTube probably tonight or tomorrow morning. So thanks a lot, George. I appreciate it. Guys, go vertical. Have an awesome, blessed Christmas. Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys in 2021.
Sure, let's do this.
All right. See you guys. All right.